all of the shelves fell down. One very small piece of progress for today. Okay, hi guys, back up at the garage today, and it doesn't happen often, but some days you have are just useless, terrible. And unfortunately today is one of those days, you know. Almost you can't make it up because things just happen where you think, how? Why me? And oh my God, everybody who does these projects, doesn't matter if it's automotive, whatever it is, they all always have days like this, and today seems to be mine. So what I'm doing is I'm working on this hub here. I think, let me have a think. Yeah, it's front left. And it's being an absolute pig. Basically, where is it now? The coffin arm, that's not it, but another one. I can't see where I put it now. The coffin arm was stuck well and truly in the bottom here. And there was nothing I could do. By heating it up, I couldn't get it out. And what you'll see here has happened when I took the mallet to it. The bushing has pinged out of the casting. And let me just see. I think it's over here. Yeah, here it is. This is one of the new ones, by the way, which is a real pain in the arse because I've buggered it up now. But there's the bushing stuck on there. So I tried to pull it off with a puller, but the puller slipped and mullered the sides. So it's basically effed, which is very, very frustrating because I doubt you can get these bushings. I might be able to get one from somewhere, maybe secondhand. I could probably still save this one because essentially I could just sort of file down the big burrs or the you know, the damage that's happened with the puller, if I can get it off, and it would still fit back into there. But it's just been one of those days. On top of it as well, when I was looking for something in this shelf here, all of the shelves fell down. And I know why, because I had too many heavy things stacked on it. But all of these valuable parts that I've got on the car, the carbon filter, the washer reservoir, and all these bloody things here, they crashed down. Luckily, those are the old condensers. But it's like flipping heck, you know, what else can happen? So I'm just worried to do or touch anything. I should just go home and go to bed because it's going to be the safest thing to do. But anyway, I don't want to be too depressing about it or depressed about it because it's just the way it is. But some days you think, crying out loud. Anyway, what I discovered was when I took the, hang on, this section out here, I wanted to take this off because I've taken the other one out of the other side and I've sent it off for plating, cleaned it up and plating it. That was on a good day. But anyway, once I've got it out, listen to this. That is the worst wheel bearing ever. And I didn't know that before. So, absolutely awful. Look, it's like, so that wheel bearing needs replacing. So I'm gonna have to look around. Maybe I won't be able to replace this here. Maybe there's some of you watching this thinking, not a chance, mate. Or yes, I've got one at home. If you do, please send it to me. So yeah, I'm just gonna have to see. I'm gonna obviously have to pull this out. But before I start doing any of the work on this, I'm just gonna have to see what the score is with that. Because if I can't use this hub anymore because of this, then there's no point doing this work. I'll just buy a used one. But they are bloody expensive. So I'm just gonna tinker around, carry on for a little bit. But today's one of those days where I'm just thinking, I don't know. Just bloody bad luck. See you later. Okay guys, the only way I could get that bushing from the wheel carrier off of that control arm, haven't got it off yet, and try and save this bushing is to just cut the control arm, which really hurts because it wasn't that old, but I'm going to just smack it with a hammer and see if it comes off. Okay guys, that did it. God knows why that was on there so bad, it's so hard. I just could not get it off. You can see, I don't know, no real corrosion there. Maybe this was deformed somehow. I have no idea. But that's the bushing, and it's pretty knackered. I'll see if I can save it. So I was just cleaning up this hub, and you can really tell how knackered this wheel bearing is. also makes me realise that I've now found the issue that I had with the car when I was driving. I couldn't really locate the noise of a whining sound, and that was obviously it. But anyway, like I just told you about that bush, which I've now put back in. I mean, it really doesn't look that great, but I'm sort of cleaning it up a little bit now, and I'm hoping that's going to work. It's certainly cheaper than replacing the entire wheel hub. I've just realised, look, there's another one missing. And I just realised, because that's obviously the steering, and I went back to the track rod ends that I took off, and look at that. The bushes are attached to them, so they came off as well. So, oh my lord, so I've got to take those off as well. To give you an idea of how bad this bearing is, listen to that. Sounds like some marbles in a cup. And I checked all the bearings, like, you know, by wobbling the wheel, jacking up the car, wobbling the wheel, couldn't feel that at all. But only when you take things apart. That's terrible. High time for a change. Hey guys, so still working on the Porsche. A couple of hours have passed since I last did a little video update. But what I decided to do was try and remove this wheel hub from the wheel carrier. Obviously, really what you need is a professional bearing puller to do that, but before you take the bearing out, you've got to remove this hub. So essentially what I did was, when I put the lift up, I had this huge strut rod left over with these massive bolts. These are 30 M30, and what I did was I angle ground down one of the washers, and basically what I did was put some supports around here to support the casting, and just literally supported it here. I mean, it's a bit Heath Robinson, but Jesus, it worked. Tightened two nuts up against each other so this rod wouldn't turn. Supported it with an adjustable spanner against the leg of that, and used my huge breaker bar to tighten down on it. And it worked. It was brilliant. Basically, you put a lot of pressure on it, and then it suddenly pings, and then it goes through. So, managed to pull the hub out. I'm going to clean that up, obviously. Still got the bearing race on there, and then the bearings in there. But yeah, so what I've got to do now is remove these bolts, which I'm sort of dreading because they're going to be fused into this casting. But that's the next step. Hi guys, back at the workshop. It's Sunday afternoon, left it quite late today, it's 3 o'clock. What I'm going to do today is, without turning the camera around, you can see all of these 4 bolts are snapped off, so I'm going to set this up so it's nice and stable, and then I'm going to drill them out. Okay, so I've just stabilized the hub, got it nice and straight and flat, and I've used the vernier gauge to mark, well, I did it by eye first and then checked with the vernier gauge the M8 screws, so they're all pretty much, you know, with the pen I put them, the dots in the middle, and then mark them with the that little diamond tip thing on the Dremel. So I'm going to start drilling now. The thing is, if this goes wrong, you might remember this from a couple of years ago. This is the Vert time set, so they're also M8, and if I go wrong on any of them, I can always just use this set to put it all right. Hey guys, so I don't know what the time is, it's quite late, and I've been at this for ages, and I've managed to get one snapped bolt drilled out and tapped. So this is an M8 by 35 mil, and the thread pattern is 1.25. So M8 by 35 by 1.25, and luckily I had the tapping tool for it. And yeah, I drilled more or less straight. I did it with my hand drill, so I don't even have a pendant drill, or a pillar drill I should say. And I got it pretty close. I mean, not exact, but pretty close. I drilled out, what did I do? I went to 7. So I think I started at 2, 4, 6.5, and then 7, and then started tapping it. So that is one bolt done. Wo soll ich halten? Hier?
Ja, das kann.
Ja, sieht doch gut aus. Oh! Oh! Wie viel Druck? Der geht nirgendwo hinein. Bewegt er sich? Ist das ein Geräusch? Oh. Scheiße. Jetzt kommt's. Oh yeah, nice. Passt der denn durch? Ja, okay. Nice. Was? I also re-threaded these stone guard bolt holes. So they're M6 and these are M8. Okay, so I've come up again to the workshop. It's Sunday, it's quite cold, so I've got the heaters going, but given the massive holes in the roof, or the vents in the roof, they don't make much of a difference. But anyway, what I'm going to do is, during the week I've ordered the new bearing, so that has now arrived, but I was out yesterday, so it's just been sent to a local depot, which I can go and pick up on Monday. And it comes with the new bearing, the new hub nut, and these replacement M8 by 35 bolts. So in anticipation of that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these out. These come from actually the brackets which go on there, which are those things there which hold on the rear impact beam, and they fit, but they're shorter. So I think they're M8 by 30. So I'm going to take those out. I'm going to give this a good old clean up with the angle grinder, and I'm going to treat it for rust, and I'm going to paint it in black, so that's all going to be ready. The other thing I want to do also is to take the sandblaster to this, just to do a little test run to see what it comes out like when I sandblast it. Because actually the sand that I've got is pretty poor quality stuff, and it's actually not that hard. I don't think it's even sand. I think it's some waste product which they sold me at the DIY store. But I'm going to do a test run to see if that does clean it up. Obviously, if it doesn't, and it makes makes marks on the top of the housing, then I'll leave it. But that's the plan for today. So that's got it cleaned up. You can actually see the part number there, which is pretty cool. Couldn't see that before. Cleaned up both sides in the bolt holes as well. So I'll dunk that now in the acetone, and then I will take it to a slightly warmer part of this garage, and put some rust converter on there, and then I will paint it black. Okay, so I've just given the hub a bit of a clean up as well. On this side, needs a bit more as well, and I also need to get that bearing race off as well. But I'm wondering what to do about this. Maybe I do sort of tape it up and give it a light covering of etch primer and then black. But obviously on this side it's pointless doing, because this is the surface which mates then to the wheel, and you don't want anything in there, so that'll just have to remain clear metal. But obviously put a little bit of grease on there, or anti-seize paste. But in the middle there, it's a shame really, because that'll rust again. But I don't know, maybe they just need to be cleaned up and left like that. I don't know. What do you guys think? Otherwise, I have, as I say, cleaned up this bracket here, undercoated it, and put the first coat of black on there. But I'll do another couple of coats before I'm done. Okay guys, so I'm going to start cleaning up this wheel hub. I did just give it a go with the sandblaster like I said I would, but it's just so messy, and it's not too bad, the effect, but it's just too messy, so I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to use the Dremel with this fitting on it and just start to clean it up. Okay, I'm basically packing up now for the evening, so I've been doing other stuff, sort of rearranging the workshop and stuff. But this gives you an idea. I mean, it's very, very slow work. I've done wet and dry on this using quite a fine grit sandpaper, and it does come up. But I think from experience of doing similar work on the engine block when I did the exhausts a couple of years ago, it comes back, all this grime and grit just comes back within a few weeks. So I don't know. So it's a lot of work for potentially nothing. but yeah, I'm gonna keep going and see how it turns out. At least it will clean when it goes back on. Okay, so I've just rubbed down this horn. I'm going to put some rust converter on there now, because you can still see some blemishes of rust there. And then I'm going to paint it Okay, so that's a couple of coats of zinc on there. I'll use this zinc spray, and I'm just going to let it dry for about 5-10 minutes, then I'm going to take the tape off. Okay, that is the horn done, and that is one very small piece of progress for today.